our planet that are constantly occurring that in our day-to-day life we may lose sight of. And the greatest expression of this strange and wonderful planet that we live on is every day we have this incredible flow and flux of energy that comes in a wave across our planet. And it divides the planet between dark and light. And it gives us daytime, it gives us what's called the diurnal or daily rhythm. And this daily rhythm seems quite obvious to us, and maybe we forget about it. But it's actually exceptional, because what it does is it creates a pulsation of difference across the planet every day. You have this highly purified form of light and energy and heat that comes every day. And it literally is like a wave, a curtain. And on the opposite side of the planet, it's a complete darkness. And this rhythm of energy goes across the planet and excites all of the water in the environment, creates incredible motion in terms of water movement. And it creates these transitions of water evaporation and condensation that upon our planet in relationship to gravity start to begin the process of energy transfer and maintenance and holding that allows all the structure that you see now. And so our systems are born in this rhythmic pulsation every day, and our organs and our life is actually based on a waking cycle and a sleep cycle, which again we might take for granted every day, which is kind of a natural process. But when you subvert this process, you hurt your body's ability to maintain and possess this energy. For a while, these kinds of ideas were seen as maybe simplistic, but reading ancient texts and indigenous wisdom, what you are shown is that the human capability of observation is incredibly high. We maybe don't always perceive that in the modern day because sometimes we can be so separated from our senses. But the ability for humans to observe and perceive their environment is actually incredibly refined. And the Yellow Emperor's Inner Classic, the basis of Chinese medicine, is an incredible example of this. So what did they do with this information? They're watching the sun rise. They're watching another very important cycle occur that has to do with heat and light. We have springtime and wintertime. We have summer, we have fall. So when you observe growing cycles, when you observe nature, and when you observe the production of food, you observe that it happens in certain cycles. If you grow certain plants during fall, they don't necessarily fruit as well as if you grow them in spring. So there must be something to this totally insubstantial, non-corporeal, non-physical source of energy, which is the sun right now. I can't really grasp the sun. It doesn't form a structure. Yet it is the prime mover of everything that we see. That's really interesting, right? It's actually, you can't actually, there's no engine. It's not like a physical structure. It's literally just light and heat. But then when it hits the atmosphere and it's preserved in water, it becomes my voice that's talking to you right now. It's really eerie. And so observing this, they made distinctions which we now know as yin and yang. And yin and yang often, in the simplest terms, is dark and light, is sun, shade, sunlight, and shade. But that may seem simple, that's kind of like a quaint observation. But it's actually an incredibly profound one. So if I were to move my body over here, so right now I feel really nice and comfortable, and there's kind of like a cold wind coming, but if I'm actually going to do this right now, my body starts to change. And depending on how well I'm metabolizing food, my level of sleep, my level of stress, my years that I've already lived, the different experiences I've had, the different illnesses, my body may start to have trouble regulating the amount of heat, actually, that's going on right now, the metabolic energy, right now, just because I'm in the shade, just that one difference. So my immunity might change a little bit right now. My fluids might be starting to come into my internal organs and out from my periphery. I start to change physiologically. And if I just move right back into the sun, I'm feeling so much better right now. It's like I was getting chilled there. So this idea of shade and light, it's actually essential to life. And so this microcosm of the day has a macrocosm of seasons. And so you might be thinking, well, is there much difference in my physiology and seasons? And it turns out if you live above the equator, and there's some changes in the equator too, but yes, there is. You sleep longer in the wintertime. When there's more daylight in the summer, you're awake more often. Your body, when you're hotter during summertime, swells a little bit. You actually gain water weight. So as you gain heat, you actually pull on more water. You vasodilate, your blood vessels expand more. This greater macrocosm actually occurs in an even more microcosm of the day, exactly like that, but when you wake. So when you wake, all of a sudden your heart rate increases, your temperature increases, your activity, your digestive juices, everything is increasing. And so all of this is an example of yang, of active outward motion. But within it contains all the structures that are formed by yin, so they're an interdependent cycle. So at night when you sleep, all those active motions, they quiet. And that's the only time really that you're truly repairing all of your body. You do minor things during the day, but mostly during the day you're focused on transmitting and transmuting energy, and then at night you're focused on repair. If you damage that sleep cycle, we know your hormonal regulation gets affected, your mood gets affected, your actual organs start to change what they look like. They actually get more fibrotic, or they're filled with fat, or things like that. All of these seasonal cycles have direct influence on us physically. So, all of these ideas that again seem quaint in the 20th century, when Chinese medicine hits the the failings of European or United States medicine, there's this sort of kind of dissolution that happens. Well, actually, we're just talking about energy. It's the energy body. It's not actually organs. Our anatomy is we don't really know anatomy very well, so there is this concession that's made. And the issue with that, what was lost, is that the original text is actually highly, highly accurate in terms of its anatomical observations. It's really a medical text. But our common understanding of medicine is so divorced from life and natural processes and pulled into sort of scientific observations that seem to push us away with its language, that we think that they might be separate. And what I'm saying is that this ability to observe your body and your life in relationship to these rhythms is born unto you. You can do it every day. You can watch yourself through seasonal cycles. You can watch yourself through daily rhythms. And this was one of their most important offerings. In terms of disease, they devised several methods of treatment. One of them, most famously, is the acupuncture needle. That too has been sort of limited in its scope in the modern practice. Originally, there was various needling techniques they would use for all different types of tissues. They had 9 sets of needles that were all various in their shapes. And they were treating serious internal illnesses. And they were also very candid about when illnesses and organs were past a point of hope and help, and how many days you would die. So the book is not a book of fantasy, it's a book of real-world observations about our life and what we live in, and you can observe it yourself, basically. The other thing that they were really focused on was the idea of heat therapy. So that's where moxa comes from, or mugwort, or moxibustion, where you're applying that heat source to the body. And finally, they would use different types of pressing and pulling, and massage is what it's called, as well as internal medicine with herbs and things like that too, to take internally. All of this formed the scope of their practice. And it represented an extremely sophisticated way of treating. Herbal medicine itself is really interesting. We're going to taste some tea today. You can reduce it to chemicals, and you can identify chemicals that are very helpful for you, for your life. But I think it's also interesting to think about herbs in the same way that we think of our own bodies, as yoking these rhythmic pulsations into their bodies, and they're forming these chemical constituents that over thousands of years we've decided, hey, this certain plant, maybe working with mugwort is one of them internally, it's really helpful when people's hands and feet feel really cold and they feel actually a sense of lack of purpose, and it's their lower abdomen is feeling cold, and maybe if they have a menses, then they're going to be bleeding a lot and they actually feel weak after their menses. That plant's really good for that. That's really helpful. And so they were observing all these different things. The final thing I want to say to make you aware of these pulsations in your own life is that they would take this greater macrocosm of sun and daytime and night, and they would also say your heartbeat has the same expression. So you have this outward push, this pulsation, and then you have this relaxation. And the main point about all this is that there is a life-giving aspect to that pulsation that's going to something and the relaxation away from it. And anytime you think of yin and yang, you can think of that, and that there is actually awareness of this phenomena allows for literally the structures of life. The pulsation, when your blood forms and goes through, it has to eject quite forcibly out of your heart. But by the time it gets to your cells to be able to deliver all the oxygen and nutrients, it has to slow down. It has to get slow enough to actually transmit all of that oxygen and nutrients. If it just shoots right by it, you can't actually feed the structure. There's an aspect of that lack of contraction that allows for the deposit or the sustenance of the nourishment. And in the original text, they would associate these life-giving arteries, veins, and this interstitial fluid with rivers. Those were one of their main correspondences. And why is that? Because in observing rivers, you can observe increased flow, does something to the banks, decreased flow, does something to the banks. If it's too cold, it gets frozen. If it gets too hot and overflowing, it's the same thing inside of your vasculature. It's the same thing inside of your interstitium. And these things themselves feed the organs, which again are entrained to this whole rhythm. The last thing I'll say about that is it's actually really simple to seasonally sync, but really hard in modern life. And one of the big things, and it's gotten really popular lately, is circadian rhythm and blue light blocking glasses. That's really popular. And they're actually very helpful and real. The type of color that you see at different times of day will stimulate different hormones. And the biggest challenge in modern life, truly, is really just observing those cycles of activity and rest. I struggle with myself. But you can actually do it. And then the second way to help maintain your cycles is to eat rhythmically. And what does that mean? It means eating 3 meals a day at relatively the same sun time, so not the actual clock time, but after you wake, after the sun comes up, you eat your first meal. You eat your largest meal at noon, basically, and then you eat a little bit before the sun goes down. Those two things, observing light and sleeping with the sun cycles as it gets larger and less in winter, larger in summer, less in winter, can actually dramatically change your organ health and also your mental state, your emotional health. And that key point about understanding that the rhythms around us are influencing not only our organs, but our emotional health, our mental health, can start to help you also break down the idea of a personality and the I inside, basically you, I, that is directing your life. You can start to step back a little bit and say, hey, we can look at the observations now of modern research and say, oh, if you stay up past the sun, yes, you have higher degrees of inflammation and inflammatory mediators, and your vessels are a little bit damaged. But you can also have self-reflection where, hey, I'm more irritated, agitated, having more difficulty the next day after I, stay up late and I'm, watching screens, or I'm eating late, or I'm not actually synced with the seasonal rhythms. You can begin that process. And it can have huge effects on your health. It can really change it. So that's some of what I wanted to say today. Does anybody have any questions before we move on to the tea? Okay, if you think of anything, you can ask me after too. Wait, and then where? Oh yes, great. Will you pass out the tea? Thank you so much, Bryn. This is Bryn. And we might need a little more. I only poured. I think we'll probably need 10 more. Thank you so much. So this tea is actually mugwort, linden, oat straw, and rose.
Thank you.
Mugwort is a ubiquitous plant around the planet, used in all different types of herbal traditions. It's a wonderfully warming plant. In enough quantities, it can really, like I said before, make your hands and feet feel better, not as cold. It's very helpful to clear your mind or mental space. It can help you with communication. On that note, linden is also very good. It's tree medicine. Oh, sorry. And before, don't sip it yet. Sorry, that was my mistake. So we're going to actually do a ceremony together. Yes, yes. It's okay if you have, but it's yeah. Sorry about that. Important piece of information. And then linden is very good for the kidney system. It's very helpful for urinary issues, prostate issues as well. And it can be very effective for communication. It comes from a tree, and the tradition of herbal medicine, European herbal medicine, often in Germanic towns they would meet under linden trees. So there's an aspect of communication to that. Oat straw is just everywhere around Southern California. It's a really amazing plant. It can help you with neuronal regeneration, so help you with your nerves and actually help the fat sheet that goes around your axons, and as a result it can make you calmer because it gives you that insulation and not as much reactivity. It's very helpful for exhaustion, deep exhaustion. It has some plant-derived cortisol, so it can help you feel more awake, but it can often balance that system. And then rose is a really beautiful plant. Rose, obviously many of you know, it's an incredible medicine. It's a cardiac medicine. It can help the vasculature. It can also help emotionally heal a broken heart. So if you have a very serious breakup or a death in the family, it's very helpful for that. It helps open the heart and allow the grief to come out. And yeah, so those are the plants we'll be working with today. Oh, and so when you get the tea, you'll hold it near your heart, and you'll just begin the process. Those who have it now can start that. And what you're doing is you're introducing yourself to the plant scent.
Celebration. So Chinese medicine, and Coach Matthew Osborne will do a demonstration of Wushu. Coach is a buddy of mine, and it's going to be really great. So check it out, and I'll get the name of this guy who's speaking about Chinese medicine as well, because he's pretty cool.
And how many still need more tea? Thank you all for joining us. Yeah, you go. And for those who came a little bit later, I'll be giving the talk again at 3:30 if you want to hear it. So for now, we're going to do a plant meditation. Do you have some? Do you have tea? No. Okay, just okay. I can't do that.
Lots of people still coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just grab one for.
Do you want? Here. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna start, and so what I'd like you to do is just hold the tea to your heart. And this is your introduction to these plants. And you can close your eyes and just allow your mind to drift. Plants are our oldest living relatives. We've known them since before we even knew what it meant to be. They carry within them eons of information, of intelligence, of the story of this planet, each one of them. Bring the tea up, don't drink it, just allow the plant to breathe into your nose. Inhale its scents. Notice memories, feelings in your body. Notice the wind on your body, the sun, the birds, the shade. Now, take a sip, a full sip, hold them in your mouth, and then drink. strength. Allow memories, feelings, voices of the plants and of the earth to speak to you.
Alright guys, so check this out. This is the whole performance. I'm just going to show you this, the guy who did the tease. If you want to contact him, this is his info right here. Really, really cool. Good guy. Peter Galle? But anyway, and he's got some really cool stuff he's selling here. Samples. Anyway, real cool guy. So we're going to go over to the event. Over this way now. Nice. Let me slide this up. Want some water? Is there a trash can? No. Okay. Really nice. Make sure that there's no tea left behind. Yeah, very nice tasting tea. Very delightful tasting tea. Yeah, I got a little shot of his contact info and the actual ingredients of the tea. So. Yeah, it was really, really nice blend. The tea we just had was a very, very nice blend. So this is Elysian Park, right? Elysian Park in LA. And actually, if you're here, I highly recommend coming down to Elysian Park. It's happening right now. And until 6 p.m. It's Sunday, February 11th.
But these things are skills, and there is no drudgery to them, because all parts that are unpleasant can be taken away with power. Witchcraft is nothing but such drudgery. Each herb must be found in its den, harvested at its time, grubbed up from the dirt, cold and stripped, washed and prepared. It must be handled this way, then that, to find out where its power lies. One rose gives up its secrets when pressed, the next ground, a third steeped. In those early days, I thought that once I cast a spell, I would not have to learn it again. But even that was not true. Each spell was a mountain to be climbed anew. The only thing I could take with me from the last was that it could be done. Day upon patient day, we must throw out our errors and begin again. So why did I not mind? Well, my answer is easy. For 100 generations, I walked the world, drowsy and dull, idle and at my ease. I left no prince, I did no deeds, but then I learned that I could bend the world to my will, as a bow is bent for an arrow. And I would have done that toil 1,000 times to keep such power in my hands. And I thought, this is how Zeus felt when he first lifted the thunderbolt.
Coach Matthew Osborne. Check him out. Wushu Matt on Instagram. Amazing, amazing, brilliant coach. Let me see. Get his info so people can find him. All right, we're gonna get Coach Matt's info. Hey man, I'm live on TikTok right now. I just want people to know where they can find you.
At Wushu Matt.
Wushu Matt.
Yeah.
Wushu Matt.
At
One of
Wushu
the best.
Matt at National Wushu Training Center.
One of the best alive. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful work.
Hi,
brother.
thank you very much.
Hey, where can people find you?
At Stolen Sharpie, like the pen, for Instagram, or just find me there.
Stolen Sharpie on Instagram.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey man, I'm Jay.
Thank
by the
you.
way. Awesome stuff.
Oh, thank you.
You guys
Really
love
appreciate
Matt
it.
does. Really amazing
Yeah.
stuff, brother.
Cool,
And
man.
do you draw as well? Stolen Sharpie?
No, I do advertising. I used to do sketches for
I grew up in the comic
ideas.
book business. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I've hired illustrators for ads before, but yeah, we use Sharpies for the ideas, and then our bots tear them up.
Awesome. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very
for the
much.
demonstration.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. So the event is starting. I love you so much, and Jan Tai Chi. I'm gonna repost this on YouTube as well, so it'll be there. And is anyone? Oh yeah, where's that? I think we got that guy, the guy who gave the medicine out. Do you see him? Just in case he wants people to find him in a particular place.
I saw him sitting over there, but I don't know where he went after.
Is that him behind the tree? I'm trying to find the guy who gave the herbal medicine. All right. Well, anyway, if you scroll back a little bit, you'll see it in the video. And at least is he over there? No, he's not over there. I don't know where the guy went. So I love you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. And happy Chinese New Year. Happy Lunar New Year. Gong Hei Fa Choi. All right.
Look at the white dog.
Yeah, fun doggies. We'll end the video with some fun dogs.
You want to go switch over there?
I do. Hold on.